So you talked a little bit about hitting burnout.
hmm
When you started hitting that point, um, did you have like a moment, or was it like a season where you were like, "This is too much. This is too much. This is too much"? Like, how could someone be like, "That's where I'm at. This is my moment also," or
Yeah.
"I'm getting there. Maybe I should stop now."
Yeah. I would say it was like a water leak that just kind of slowly creeped in.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that there was something wrong, but I couldn't figure out how to fix it. And the way
Mm-hmm.
that I tried to fix it was adding more into my life. And so I was just piling in more and more. Oh, well, maybe I should get up at 5 a.m. or maybe I should try this new exercise routine, or maybe I'm tired all the time. So maybe I need to eat better, or it was always about addition.
Yeah.
And every solution that I found was about addition. It was like, well, you're not doing
Ah,
this right, so you need to add this in. You're not doing that right, you need to add this in. Um, and and so for a while I was trying to fix. I just Things didn't feel right. Things didn't feel like they were lining up. It just felt burdensome. My life felt exhausting and frustrating, and all of these things that I had worked so hard to build felt like they were crushing me. And it didn't start out that way. It just kind of built over time. And there wasn't like one individual relationship or schedule item or even like habit or whatever I had created that was crushing me. It was like all of them added together. And then
sure.
I tried to add in more, and that was when I hit, like, I couldn't function. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it anymore. I was exhausted all the time. Even after a full night's sleep, I was so frustrated with my wonderful kids, who are mostly well behaved and
Yeah.
they're such sweethearts. And I was just angry all the time. I was not able to keep up with my house. My house was driving me nuts because it was cluttered, it was messy, it was dirty, it was disorganized, and I didn't I couldn't even keep up with those things. My relationships were falling apart because anytime anybody tried to communicate with me, I just got angry because I felt like they were trying to take from me and I didn't have anything to give. And so um, all these people that have added value to me my whole life, and they add value to me now, at that time, I just saw everyone as um, a negative. Like it was all
Yeah.
just my outlook. And that's so not me. I'm a very positive person. And so when I started seeing everything as like the glass is half full, kind of pessimistic, I knew something was wrong. Like, and there was several conversations that happened where I just did not behave like myself. I started like blowing up in anger. I started yelling at people, and that's not really who I
Yeah.
am. Um, and I was like, something's wrong. Like something's not, everything just feels off, you know?
Yeah. 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 So what I'm hearing you say is you had some flags, didn't you? Your
hmm
exhaustion, your home, your environment, your
Yeah.
relationships, and your like satisfaction. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
like who you were wasn't coming through clearly, was it? Yeah. Yeah, totally. So when you hit that point, like what did you do to begin the unravel? And do you feel like it would be good for someone else to start with, or would you have started in a different spot?
Well, I made a shift. So I started going to counseling. Um, I started saying no to things. I started creating boundaries, and really looking at what was in my schedule that was life draining and what was life giving. And my list for all the relationships, scheduled things, and commitments that I had made, the list that I made for what was life draining was huge. Like it was most of my life. I
Oof.
was I was teaching in multiple different co-ops and classes. Um I was taking care of other people's kids. I was in conflict in several different family relationships in my life. Um, it was just, the list was, when I made that list for myself, I was shocked. I
Mm.
just looked at it in black and white and thought, well, no wonder I'm exhausted. Because even on a good day, if I can do 5 of these things well, I still have another 20, like
Yeah.
it was just too much. I was just
Sure.
trying to do too much. And I'm an overachiever. And so that's just
Hmm.
who I am. I am a bullet train. I go
Hmm.
full speed ahead, whatever direction I'm headed. And I do lots of things all at the same time. And usually I can juggle that. And then it got to the point where I just couldn't. So, so my shift was when I saw that, I started subtracting. And instead
Okay.
of adding and shaming myself, I focused on subtraction.
Okay. Okay.
So,
That's good. That's good. That's good because if you're always like, oh, I need to be more, it's my fault for not having capacity, you're never going to change it. And there's
mm,
so many of us, I think this is such a good conversation because like women in our current society, in our culture, at least here in America, and I think in a lot of similar places where achievements and what you accomplish and what your metrics are and have you measured this, oh, you're not, up 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 up. It's good to have performance reviews, it's good to know where you're at, it's good to achieve things, but yeah, but like you said, you were doing great things, wonderful
yeah.
things for other people,
Mm-hmm.
and yet it was too much for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's where it's like, I know exactly what you mean. I know what it's like to do a lot, find out it's too much, and be like, oh, there's this thing called saying no and letting. And I think what helped me was the concept of giving space for someone else. If I am
Mm-hmm.
always saying yes, nobody else's yes has space. If I
Mm-hmm.
say no, I might be like, oh man, I could do that. I could help them. But maybe someone else has to come up and say a kind of a big, scary yes for them, but like a growth yes, a good yes where they get to do something. And if
Yeah.
I'm saying yes, if I'm filling all the places, there's no room for other people to use their gifts or to grow in something that they need to do. If there's no gap, if I'm not creating the gap, someone else isn't going to need to fill it, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that perspective helped me a lot with like, it's okay to say no because I don't have to be the solution to every single problem that there is. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I have
Mm-hmm.
definitely found that as a writer. So I am a mom, I am a
Yep.
homemaker, I'm a homeschool mom, and then I'm also a writer. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I tried to make space for my writing, my kids had to step up in a lot of ways. They had to start learning how to make dinner or how to make their own snacks or how to keep themselves busy in the afternoon without me
Mm-hmm.
entertaining them. Like, um, that was an area where me stepping back and doing something else
Mm-hmm.
kind of encouraged them to step up. And at this point, my kids are older. I
Mm-hmm.
have 2 teenagers, one preteen, and a 10-year-old. So they're
Mm-hmm.
all much older now. But when I started writing, my youngest was 5, and
Mm-hmm.
he had to kind of step up. He had to keep himself a little bit more busy, and yeah, that it was something that I learned in the midst of burnout, of saying no and making space and stepping back. And then I applied it again in my writing when um, I could do those things, but they could also step up and help out.